Jake is sitting in Terminal B at Gate 47. His flight boards in 90 minutes. He has already cleared security. And he is holding a $12 sandwich that he did not particularly want, but bought anyway because he was hungry and there was nowhere else to go. That $12 sandwich, that single transaction that felt like mild extortion, is the entire business model of airport ownership, explained in one moment. Because Jake cannot leave. He cannot drive to a cheaper restaurant. He cannot order delivery. He cannot walk to a coffee shop with better prices. He is past security, inside a building specifically designed to extract money from people who have time to kill. Nowhere else to spend it, and no alternative but to be exactly where they are. An airport does not sell flights. It sells access to a few thousand people who cannot leave, and then charges the airlines for delivering them. And today I'm going to decode every single way that transaction works, because the economics of airport ownership are one of the most brilliant, most invisible, and most profitable business models that exist in modern commerce. The landing fee revenue before Jake bought his sandwich, before he cleared security, before he even arrived at the airport. The airline that is flying him today paid the airport a landing fee, a fee based on the maximum takeoff weight of the aircraft. A narrow-body aircraft like a Boeing 737 might pay between $300 and $800 per landing at a regional airport, and several $1,000s at a major hub. And every plane that lands, every single one, every hour of every day, pays this fee to the airport authority, just for the privilege of using the runway. The airport does not fly anyone anywhere. It simply exists at the intersection of where people need to be, and charges for the access, the gate fee revenue. Once the plane lands, the airline does not simply park at a gate for free. The gates are leased, and premium gates, the ones closest to the terminal, the ones with the most convenient boarding access, charge premium lease rates. Airlines compete for gate access at busy airports because gate availability determines how many flights they can operate. And at the most constrained airports, gates are so scarce that their lease value approaches the economic equivalent of Manhattan retail real estate, the captive retail machine. Here's where the economics become genuinely extraordinary, and where Jake's $12 sandwich becomes a masterpiece of business design. Airport retail operators do not pay flat rent, they pay percentage rent, typically 40 to 60% of their gross revenue, to the airport authority, which means that when Jake pays $12 for his sandwich, the airport takes $5 to $7 of that transaction, and the restaurant operator keeps $5 to $7. And the restaurant operator accepted this arrangement, not because they are naive, but because the alternative is not operating inside the airport at all, and an airport location with thousands of captive customers walking past every hour, with no alternative options, is worth accepting almost any revenue sharing arrangement to access. The parking operation. Jake drove to the airport this morning and parked in the daily lot, $32 per day. And the parking operation is one of the most profitable uses of real estate in the entire commercial real estate sector. The land costs the airport almost nothing to maintain. The infrastructure investment is minimal, and the daily rate generates returns per square foot that would make a Manhattan office building landlord envious. At a major airport with 20,000 parking spaces generating an average of $30 per day, the parking operation alone generates $219 million in annual revenue from asphalt and signage itself, and a payment kiosk, the Fuel Concession. Here's the revenue stream that most people never think about. Every aircraft that refuels at an airport pays a fuel concession fee, a per gallon charge that the airport authority collects from the fuel supplier, who passes it directly to the airline, which means that every drop of jet fuel that moves through the airport is generating revenue for the airport authority. And the airlines have no alternative. They cannot bring their own fuel. They cannot use an outside supplier. The airport controls the fuel infrastructure, and therefore controls the pricing, and the airlines pay it, because the alternative is not flying. The real estate empire. Airports own vast amounts of land that most people never see. The cargo facilities, the maintenance hangars, the hotel on the airport grounds, the car rental facility, the catering operation, the ground transportation zone, all of these are operated by private companies paying ground leases to the airport authority. The airport authority owns the land, does nothing with it directly, and collects rent from every commercial operation that wants to be adjacent to the passenger flow that the terminal generates. Here's the detail that makes airport economics different from every other business on this list. Airports have a government-granted monopoly on a specific geographic area. There is one airport serving most cities, and if you want to fly from that city, you use that airport. There is no alternative, right? No competitor across the street offering better prices, no online alternative that disrupts the model. The airport exists at a point of geographic and regulatory necessity that gives it pricing power that no private business can replicate without a government license, which is exactly why the most valuable airports in the world are not the largest ones. They are the ones with the most constrained competition, the ones where the geography makes a second airport impractical, the ones where the regulatory environment makes new entry impossible. Because constraint is the foundation of the entire economic model. Here's what Jake's 90 minutes in Terminal B actually cost him. The $12 sandwich, a $9 coffee, a $20 magazine and bottle of water from the newsstand, a $42 parking charge when he returns in 4 days, and approximately $180 in landing fees and gate fees embedded invisibly in his ticket price. Jake spent approximately $260 at the airport, without buying a flight, on a trip that he thinks cost him the price of the ticket, and the airport authority collected a share of almost every dollar. From the sandwich, from the coffee, from the parking, from the fuel in the aircraft engine, from the gate the plane parked at, from the runway it landed on, from the hotel across the street where the flight crew slept last night. Jake walks to his gate, holds what remains of his $12 sandwich, and has no idea that the building he is sitting in is one of the most profitable pieces of real estate ever conceived, because it found a way to charge the same person twice, once as a customer, and once as the product it sells to airlines. You have been decoded. If this video made you look at every airport sign and every overpriced coffee differently, subscribe to Money Decoder 3004 every single week. We decode the economics of the familiar places and systems that extract from everyone, while remaining almost perfectly invisible. Simply, honestly, and clearly, drop a comment below. What is the most expensive thing you have ever bought in an airport? And did you feel like you had a choice? Tell me below. I read every single comment, and I will see you in the next decode.